backing up Lemieux. Back comes Lemieux. All right, and down goes Lemieux.
I've been MIA. They can't take my spot before they take me to the grave.
What is going on, boys and girls, he's and she's, days and it's your boy Keegan. Today we're going to be breaking down one of the hottest, biggest names in boxing, David the Mexican Monster Benavidez.
Now, the first thing you will probably notice about Benavidez is his tall, upright stance, which I can admit looks quite rigid at times, but he's actually quite versatile with his stance and his guard. He gets away with this for the most part thanks to his textbook high guard. He keeps it relatively high when at mid to close range, which helps protect his temple and chin, while making sure his fists are pointing forward instead of completely parallel. This makes it particularly hard for opponents to break past it with straight shots or even hooks. Another useful aspect of the guard is the fact he can defend his body shot by tucking his chin and dipping his arms in while the shot comes.
Now, when I was an amateur boxer, when I still competed, I went to a gym here in Las Vegas called City Athletic Boxing Club. David had multiple camps there. I watched David work. He would spar in the open in front of anybody. He didn't get behind the curtain. He didn't tell you not to record. No, he just sparred open. I saw him move with some of the greatest in the world. And one thing about David that stood out to me, it was so unique. The way he can go from a high guard into a shoulder roll, into a crossface, and the whole time he'll play with you here, catch and counter with the high guard. He'll slip, shoot out of the shoulder roll, and then in the crossface, he'll catch your shots and then shoot back in volume. His ability at 6'2" in the super middleweight division to use so many variations of guards and create his offense off of them is just incredible.
Or even just taking a small half step back to reduce the impact. But like with everything, there are cons to using a high guard all the time to block shots, depending where you are and in the situation in the ring. It also actively encourages your opponent to go on the offense, but the good thing for David is that he's versatile with the guard. Benavidez will make good use of this by not just blocking, but his very good use of parrying and catching shots. We've also seen Benavidez do some good work in terms of lowering his guard so he can get off his offense, in particular his spear jab from a slightly lower angle which he will throw to keep his opponents moving back. Or he'll even sometimes use a shell stance for defense and even offense to give himself a different look or create an opening to attack his competitor. His change of stance and guard is an area that keeps his opponent thinking about what will come next. Aggressive counterpunching. Now, being a big super middleweight like Benavidez, you'd think he'd try to use his reach to his advantage.
But he doesn't use it all the time. He uses it when he wants to. But he loves fighting inside. Mid-range game and inside is where he really gets his volume up. Touch, touch, and next thing you know, you're staring up at the fucking ceiling. It's incredible. His volume punching and his inside game, his inside to mid-range game is awesome.
All the time. However, he very much takes advantage of his high guard instead, where he looks to draw in his opponents to attack him. Many of his competitors will throw unnecessary shots and only hit the gloves or the arms and not really hit him cleanly at all.
Look at the
This is where we will see Benavidez wait for his opponent to throw a punch before he pitches back.
Oh my God, did you see the way he rolled? Did you see the way he rolled and it bounced off the shoulder?
Back with a quick, powerful catch counter that aims to do damage. And once he has them hurt, Benavidez turns up the heat. Pressure fighting.
Yes. Now, I'm not going to keep pausing this over and over, but this is another thing that this man does. He will bait you in and play with you a little bit to get going. But once he knows that you understand, or once he gets off on you and gets what he wants out of it and starts manipulating what you're doing, he's going to start walking you down. He is a hunter. He is a predator. And pace and pressure fighting is such a big weapon. And it's such a great gift to have in your arsenal. To be able to be the type of fighter to put a pace on somebody else, not somebody putting a pace on you. He can put the pace on you, push you down, volume, pressure fighting, unique guards.
Benavidez, in my opinion, is most comfortable when he's on the front foot applying pressure.
I agree.
But for the most part, he likes to take his time with this and you almost get a sense that he's just waiting for the inevitable to happen.
He's very patient.
His higher guard
sure.
certainly helps to draw in his opponents, and it also helps him able to get into a position to fight on the inside. But the man from Arizona takes advantage of his larger frame and power by walking down opponents that are hurt or who like to box on the back foot by trapping them in the corners. Here, Benavidez is best sitting down on his shots, throwing his famous quick combination punches. The other aspect I like about him is when applying pressure is his powerful strong spear jab from a lower guard.
Yeah, when he's closing the distance, he will jab the shit out of you. And it's extremely sharp, it's strong, and it's snappy. And when he does throw the spear, you really see it lift guys' head back. And he will go up and down with it. You will catch it to the body. And he will play and manipulate your guard with that strong-ass jab.
He uses this to help push back his opponents so he can get them on the ropes. The Arizonan will also mix it up, throwing a lead right hand before quickly shifting with his left hook. Combination and punch flurries.
Best part of his game, in my opinion.
As just touched on, when Benavidez has you hurt or trapped in the ropes, this is where he...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, what the fuck? If he touches any part of you, if he gets a feeling for anything, it's like he gets going. If he touches your shoulder, touch. Like, god damn. Combinations and flurries, especially off the countering, is so nasty. He has a motor in him, and you cannot let him touch you. If you fight Benavidez, the best thing would be is when you are in striking distance to get off and wrap. Because as soon as you touch him and he has a way to fire back and he touches you back, 5 or 6 shots are coming and he's going to get into a rhythm.
He will usually sit on his shots and throw those explosive quick combination flurries, which have taken out many opponents. It helps that he is very...
People will sit there in the mid-range with him and let him throw 8 to 10 punch combinations. It's fucking ridiculous. And there's nothing you can do other than being smart and having the IQ to tie up or get the fuck out. But then if you get out, that's where he starts putting the pace on you. And you have to keep getting out, running. You can't do that for 12 rounds. He's a championship experienced fighter.
Very powerful, but he's also very quick when throwing these punches. The variation of his combinations is also very good, as he tends to throw a lot of angled hooks and uppercuts,
fuck is that? How do you deal with
also aiming to attack the body to open up the guard further for headshots. Inside fighting and forearm control.
I like this breakdown a lot.
Now, the other area I wanted to touch on was his inside game. Usually when he's up close, he will often tower over his opponent and really try to use his size to his advantage. So, when in the trenches, he will very much look to use forearm control. Obviously holding is illegal in boxing, and I do believe refs have maybe let him get away with it on occasions. But overall, he tries to be quick and efficient when doing this, as it helps him set up powerful hooks or the right hand. While this also helps keep his opponent in place so he can continue his offense.
Look how he's looking here. I want you guys to see something. He knows he missed, but watch what he's doing. He's pulling Darrell's hands. He's pulling his guard away. You're at a different level when you start pulling their guard away to land shots. Look, he's pulling his guard away. He's pulling his hands off his face to land another shot. High level shit.
Areas to improve.
I'm interested in this one.
Benavidez is still very much a fighter who's continuing to improve, but it's essential that he doesn't get stuck in his current ways, or I could see him losing to elite level super middleweights and light heavyweights eventually.
I disagree. There are no elite level super middleweights that are gonna. He could fight any way he wants to at the super middleweight division. No one's gonna fuck with him at super middleweight division. He's been fighting how he wants to fight at super middleweight division. The only person left to really fight is Canelo, and Canelo does not want the smoke. So I disagree with that. He doesn't need to improve anything. Doesn't need to do anything at super middleweight. Now going up to light heavyweight, yes. This is where I'm going to agree with this guy on this probably.
His upper body and head movement haven't necessarily been there today. And this is obviously due to that high guard defense he uses and catching and parrying punches instead. Nevertheless, I do worry when I see him come up against another top body puncher or 175 pounder, as I think he won't be able to stand his ground and take the punches as he has been doing. For me, far more head movement is needed in my opinion. His strength and size at the moment are helping him get through a lot of these fights, but there's been so many glimpses of him taking these unnecessary shots. Another area I'd like to see more of is him capable of boxing on the back foot. It's evidently clear this is not part of the game plan right now. As I discussed, it's more about drawing in the opponents with his high guard so he can then...
Listen, he can box off his back foot, but you'll never see it because no one puts him on his back foot. It's just like Triple G. I didn't know Triple G was so good at boxing going backwards. In Canelo's second fight, he fought so well, jabbing going backwards. Canelo pushed him back. We had never seen Triple G get pushed back before. You're not going to see Benavidez pushed back in the super middleweight division. It's just really not going to happen. Even against Canelo, I don't see Canelo forcing him backwards with his size. So I don't know if he needs to do that more. Why would you do something if you don't have to? Oh, he needs to learn how to run away better. He needs to learn how to fight going backwards. You don't fight going backwards if you're dominating going forward.
Catch and counter them, and then look to push them back in the ropes or corners so he can get off the shots.
Why would he go backwards?
He does take the occasional backward steps. However, as time goes on and he faces top-grade pressure fighters such as Canelo or a fighter just as big and strong as him...
Yeah, he can't name nobody else in the super middleweight division other than Canelo. Who is he going to fight that's as big as him? Who is he going to fight that's better than him at the super middleweight division? You can name one name, and that's Canelo, and Canelo is not better than him. I'm sorry. So I disagree with this guy on this part.
More holes will start to open up, as he still likes to get hit and caught up in unnecessary firefights.
He's a fighter,
at times.
yeah.
Right now, he's getting away with it due to the size and power against lesser opponents. But if we don't see much more diversification soon against top opponents with his movement backwards, he might end up with a disappointing result. And that wraps up this boxing style analysis, guys. David Benavidez definitely has one of the most exciting boxing styles out there, and it's...
Guys, please go subscribe to Boxing Life. I'm not some dirtbag that likes to steal people's content without respecting them. He did such a great job on the editing and the breakdown of this video. I might have disagreed just a little bit here and there, but this guy really knows his boxing, and it was an incredible video. So please subscribe to Boxing Life. Anyways, guys, that's it for David Benavidez. You know, he's a big kid. He's a big kid, a big, young, youthful bull. And he's a pressure fighter, a volume puncher, a counter puncher. He's defensively sound. He could be a little bit better. The guy on Boxing Life had a point. He does like to get into firefights. And against Better Beef at light heavyweight, might not be a good idea. That's where I start seeing problems. Against an Anthony Yard, that could be a problem. But at super middleweight, those guys are so much smaller than him, and there's nobody punching like that at super middleweight besides maybe Canelo. So I don't see him losing anytime soon. Hopefully he goes up to light heavyweight, fights Bivol, fights Anthony Yard. Maybe we get a super fight with Better Beef if Better Beef beats Bivol. Anyways, guys, it's your boy Keegan. Like, share, subscribe, and tell me who you want to see me break down next. Take care.